It started on a scorching Wednesday morning, the heat radiating off the driveway like it was out for blood. My backyard garden, 4 years of sweat, imported stones, a koi pond, and handmade wooden benches was my sanctuary. Untouched, sacred. Until that day, when nobody dared mess with it. But HOA Nancy and her meddling sidekick, Clara, weren't just anybody. They were the type to flash tight-lipped smiles and wield clipboards like weapons. Both single, bitter, and drunk on their self-appointed authority, they'd made it their crusade to organize our quiet neighborhood. I should have sensed trouble when I heard the click. It wasn't loud, but it cut through the morning calm like a blade. I was upstairs, tending to the succulents on my windowsill, when I heard the garden door open creak. No jangle of keys, just a smooth, deliberate turn. I froze. My dog growled. That door was locked, and I hadn't touched it. By the time I rushed downstairs, it was too late. There they stood, Nancy and Clara, strutting through my garden like they owned the place. Clara was tapping her pen against her teeth, and Nancy was eyeing my koi pond with a smug, critical squint. In Clara's hand, a shiny silver key. My blood boiled. "What the hell are you doing in my yard?" I snapped. Nancy turned, acting like I'd interrupted her yoga session. "Oh, you're home," she said, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. "We're just doing an unscheduled inspection." "Unscheduled? You broke into my property." She waved me off like I was being dramatic. "Oh, please. The HOA master key gives us access to common areas. This borders common property, and we've had complaints." "Complaints? From who? The Roses?" I shot back. Nancy's smile tightened. "Actually, several neighbors have raised concerns. Overgrown shrubs. Potential mosquito breeding. Non-native plants." I nearly choked. "That's a Japanese maple. It's worth more than your car." Clara scribbled something, muttering, "He's being hostile." That was it. I pulled out my phone and opened my security app. Hostile? Oh no, ladies, you're on camera. You picked my lock and entered without permission. Nancy paled for a split second, but quickly recovered her sneer. "The HOA board will back us. We're acting within our authority." I grinned. "You sure about that?" My thumb hovered over the record button, and I tilted the screen to show them the footage clear as day. Nancy sliding the key in, Clara scanning my yard like a low-rent detective. "You've got 5 seconds to leave before I call the cops." Nancy laughed. "Go ahead. My cousin's the police chief. You think they'll believe you over us?" "Perfect," I said, already dialing. "Let's get your cousin over here." They didn't think I'd do it. They just stood there, Nancy with her arms crossed, Clara inspecting her manicure like she was at a nail salon. I stayed calm on the phone, reporting an unauthorized entry like any concerned neighbor. 12 minutes later, the police rolled up. What Nancy and Clara didn't know what made this moment so sweet was that I'd recently helped the local police department upgrade their data servers. I'm an IT consultant, and guess who the new police chief had tapped for his cybersecurity overhaul? Yup. The cruiser pulled up, kicking up dust. Out stepped Chief Daniel Harris, a towering man whose presence silenced the air before he even spoke. Nancy's smugness faltered. "Danny," she chirped, scurrying over like an overeager PDA mom. "So glad you're here. We were just—" He raised a hand, stone-faced. "Don't speak." Her face twitched. "Excuse me." Chief Harris turned to me, ignoring her. "James, you okay?" Dispatch mentioned a break-in. I nodded. "Yeah. These two let themselves in with what they claim is a master key. I've got footage." I handed him my phone. He watched the video in silence, then again. Then he whistled low. Well, he muttered. "This key, did she show it to you?" She waved it in my face like it was a damn scepter. Nancy stepped forward. "Daniel, don't be absurd. We have every right to access community areas. This garden violates Code 8.4, unregulated landscaping. We acted accordingly." Harris turned his gaze on her, sharp as a spotlight. "Nancy, you used an unauthorized key copy to enter private property. That's criminal trespass." She scoffed. "You can't be serious." Clara, sweating now, clutched her useless notepad. "I'm very serious," Harris said. "You're not law enforcement. You're not even certified inspectors. Your HOA charter doesn't allow forced entry. But I'm the board president." Nancy snapped. "Not anymore," Harris shot back. Her jaw dropped. "You can't remove me." Harris reached for his radio. "Dispatch, I need a unit at 47 Bailey Lane. Suspected break-in with video evidence. That's when Nancy lost it. You're overreacting. He's manipulating you, she shrieked, pointing at me. He didn't need to, Harris said coolly. Your actions speak for themselves. Then Nancy did the unthinkable. She lunged. Not at me, but for Harris's gun. Gasps, screams, even the squirrels froze. It was so fast I barely saw her hand reach for his holster. Harris's elbow snapped up, and in a second, he had her pinned against the garden gate, his sidearm drawn. Clara screamed. She didn't mean it. She stressed. Tell that to internal affairs, Harris growled, eyes locked on Nancy's wild face. You're under arrest. Attempted disarm of an officer is a felony. I exhaled, hands shaking from rage, adrenaline, and the sweet taste of justice. Nancy wasn't shouting anymore, she was sobbing. Harris cuffed her, read her rights as backup arrived. Clara trailed behind, blubbering about how this would ruin everything. We just wanted to protect the neighborhood. Harris didn't flinch. You protected your egos, that's all. As they dragged Nancy to the cruiser, she turned back one last time, voice cracking. You'll regret this, James. Everyone will hate you for turning on the board. I stepped closer, voice steady. No one likes you, Nancy. They're just scared. Not anymore. She screamed something incoherent before the car door slammed. The garden fell quiet. The koi swam lazily again. Even the breeze returned. Peace at last. But I wasn't done. A week later, the HOA held an emergency meeting without Nancy or Clara. The neighborhood turnout was massive. People who usually stayed quiet were suddenly vocal, furious. Turns out, I wasn't their only victim. Mr. Singh across the street said Nancy once entered his garage to inspect a suspicious toolbox. A single mom, Lily, said Clara accused her 8-year-old of planting invasive weeds when the kid decorated her fence with daisies. The floodgates opened. By the end of the meeting, the board voted unanimously to oust both sisters permanently and disband their rogue inspection committee. One woman even proposed a class action lawsuit for privacy violations and emotional distress. The room erupted in cheers. I wasn't the only one smiling that night. Karma kept rolling. 2 days later, Nancy and Clara were charged with trespassing, attempted disarm of an officer, and unlawful possession of duplicated HOA keys. Nancy's real estate job? Gone. Her lawyer sister, who used to intimidate neighbors with legal threats, dropped her like a bad habit when the court date was set. Even the koi seemed perkier. The cherry on top? Chief Harris stopped by my house, not in uniform, but with a 6-pack of lemonade and a quiet smile. Didn't think I'd get called for something like this when I became chief, he chuckled. But glad you stood your ground. I grinned, leaning on my garden gate, new lock installed, cameras upgraded, plants thriving in the breeze. Sometimes, one loud neighbor can poison a whole block, but one solid moment of truth can rip that poison out by the roots. To anyone dealing with their own neighborhood tyrant, don't back down. Document everything. Speak up. Hit them with the facts and the footage. Lawsuits don't care how loud a Nancy screams, they only care who's got the receipts.